Imagine this. You're 35, scrolling through LinkedIn, and suddenly you realize you're the only one in your friend group who's not a manager, director, or CEO of their own startup. Meanwhile, you're over here Googling, is it too late to start a lemonade stand? Don't worry, you're not alone. Welcome to the club of Unemployed at 35, where the Wi-Fi is strong, but the motivation is questionable. Let's talk about it. So, you're 35 and unemployed. First of all, take a deep breath. You're not a failure. You're not behind. You're just on a detour. And guess what? Detours can lead to some pretty amazing places. Think of it like this. You're not lost. You're just taking the scenic route. Sure, it's a little bumpy, and maybe you're running low on snacks, but hey, that's life. Now, let's get real. Being unemployed at 35 can feel like showing up to a potluck with no dish. Everyone else seems to have it together, and you're just standing there with a fork, wondering how they all learned to cook. But here's the thing. Life isn't a potluck. It's more like a buffet. You can go back for seconds, try something new, or even skip the salad and head straight for dessert. The point is, it's your plate, and you get to decide what's on it. Let's be honest. Being unemployed at 25 feels like a gap year. Being unemployed at 35 feels like a midlife crisis. Why? Because by 35, society expects you to have it all figured out. You're supposed to have a career, a savings account, and maybe even a plant that's still alive. But here's the truth. Society doesn't know you. Society hasn't seen you binge watch an entire season of The Office in one day. Society hasn't seen you ace that online quiz about which bread are you. Spoiler, you're sourdough. Complex, a little crusty, but still delicious. The pressure at 35 is real, but so is the opportunity. Think of it like this. When you were 25, you were still figuring out how to adult. Now, at 35, you've got experience. You've made mistakes. You've learned things. You're like a smartphone with all the latest updates. Sure, you might have a few glitches, but you're way more advanced than the 25-year-old version of you. Here's where things get tricky. When you're unemployed at 35, it's easy to fall into the comparison trap. You see your friend from college posting about their promotion, and suddenly you're questioning every life choice you've ever made. But let's put this into perspective. Imagine life is a race. Some people are sprinters. They zoom ahead early and finish fast. Others are marathon runners. They take their time, pace themselves, and finish strong. And then there's you. You're not even on the track. You're in the parking lot, trying to figure out how to start your car. But guess what? That's okay. Because life isn't a race. It's more like a road trip. Sometimes you take wrong turns. Sometimes you run out of gas. And sometimes you stop at a sketchy diner and have the best pancakes of your life. Okay, enough metaphors. Let's talk action. What can you do when you're unemployed at 35? Take stock of your skills. You've got skills. Yes, you. Maybe you're great at organizing, or you're a whiz at Excel, or you can make a mean lasagna. Write them down. All of them. Even the weird ones, like can identify any dog breed by its bark. You never know when that might come in handy. Learn something new. Remember when you said, I'll never need to know how to code? Well, guess what? It's never too late to learn. There are tons of free or affordable online courses. And no, you don't have to become a tech genius. Just pick something that interests you. Who knows? Maybe you'll discover a hidden talent for graphic design or podcasting. Network like a pro. I know. Networking sounds about as fun as a root canal, but it doesn't have to be awkward. Start small. Reach out to old colleagues, join online communities, or attend virtual events. And here's a pro tip. When networking, don't just ask for jobs. Ask for advice. People love giving advice. It makes them feel important. Freelance or side hustle. If full-time employment feels out of reach, consider freelancing or starting a side hustle. Maybe you can write, design, tutor, or even sell handmade candles on Etsy. Fun fact, people will buy anything if it smells good and has a clever name. Here's the good news. Being unemployed at 35 gives you a chance to hit the reset button. It's like life is saying, hey, you've been on autopilot for a while. Let's try something new. Maybe this is your chance to pursue a passion, start a business, or finally write that novel about a detective who solves crimes using only emojis. And let's not forget the most important thing. You're not defined by your job. You're defined by who you are. So, if you're kind, curious, and resilient, you're already winning. So, to all the 35-year-olds out there who are feeling stuck, remember this. You're not alone. You're not behind. And you're definitely not out of the game. Life is messy, unpredictable, and sometimes downright ridiculous, but it's also full of possibilities. So, take a deep breath, grab a snack, and keep going. Who knows? Your best chapter might just be starting.